Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you are doing well. We're getting ready to record this week's trip report with Madison, who's from Connecticut, but down in Atlanta, in Ricky's part of the neck of the woods, by way of Auburn, by the way. So there'll be no SEC football talk, I promise, even though I got my Truman for President shirt on. Now, see, that's one thing we both have in common here. We both have tigers for mascots.
Yes.
Even though Aubie kind of scares me, I will say he looks more friendly. Truman. Aubie looks mean. And then you
No.
got Mike. Then you got Mike at LSU, which I mean, then they have a live tiger, so I'm not even going there. The
Yeah.
LSU, I
They're
don't.
crazy.
Yeah, they are. Exactly. I didn't want to say it because I'm not going there on a Saturday night. I'm saying that Baton Rouge. Okay, so we're not going to talk SEC football, even though I could, because we're getting close. 38 days, and I'll have my butt in my seat in Columbia for opening night, September 1st. Can't wait. Look out, Louisiana Tech. Okay, so, but we're going to talk Disney. And Dennis, shout out to Dennis he's from St. Louis, but he's down in Texas. All right, let's do this. Here we go. What number is this? 2129. That's right. Look at that. He's smart move there. He says, "Go Tigers." I know.
Yes.
You mean MIZ? I know. I got you. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2129 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend and got to stay out of the heat a little bit and had some fun with friends and family, as we are definitely in the dog days of summer. And that grass has to be mowed, the dog has to be walked. We want to go right along with you with all your tasks. And guess what? Marathon weekend is going to sneak up on us before you know it, and wine and dine before that. So if you are a runner who loves Run Disney, hate to tell you, if those sneakers are still in the back of the closet, you better at least start to think about where you put them in the spring. Like they're lurking back there, but it's time to at least come up with a plan and maybe start to walk run, and because those race weekends here in the fall and the winter are going to be here before you know it. So we want to go right along with you as you get those miles in. We're going to help you pass the time. But today, it's what we do on a Monday. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's to talk recent trip reports. We're going to talk about going down to Walt Disney World for a magical trip, and we're headed down to Atlanta today to speak with Madison. Madison, thanks for coming on the show. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, glad to have you on the show. So let me ask you this. Okay, so you are in Atlanta right now.
Yes.
We got all these logistics here. You
Yes.
went to Auburn,
Yes.
which you guys all know. I'm a Mizzou diehard season ticket holder. Love Bama also because I worked at Space Camp down in Huntsville and kind of had to pick my squad, and that's what I decided back in
Yes.
2000. And but you're also from Connecticut. So one of the new questions that I'm asking everybody is kind of your hometown. Like, what is your hometown known for? Like, is there some kind of weird kitschy thing that your part of the world where you're from is known for? Like some weird thing?
Not necessarily big known for, but it's the bedding plant capital of Connecticut. So all like plants that you use for your like front yard and like that kind of stuff, we sell the most. But yeah, I relocated. I went to Auburn and then stayed in the South. So that's how. But I just went. I wanted to get out of the North after growing up there my whole life. So that's why I went to Auburn.
That's, smart move. I mean, I've always said that, every time it gets to be about December, Dennis is live in our chat and watching us and with us as we record the show. He's from St. Louis, now living in Texas. So he did the exact same thing. Like in January, I'm like, why do people live where I live? And like, a place like Connecticut, St. Louis, like where it just hurts to be outside. You're
Yeah.
doing it right now. So I may go to Auburn this year because Mizzou plays Auburn for the first
Yeah.
time down on the plains. Give me one tip for a football Saturday if I go to Jordan Hare Stadium, besides not wearing a Bama jersey.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good idea. Honestly, the tailgating is the best part. So if you can get just like a little corner of campus and set up to tailgate, that's like the most fun. But there's also they roll the trees. It's called like rolling tumors.
Yep.
So even if you're not an Auburn fan, and if Mizzou does lose, it's still a really cool thing to see. Is like the whole street covered in like toilet paper, and it's on purpose. So
Okay, so yeah, I love that idea because I'm a huge SEC network fan.
yeah,
Our dog starred in an SEC commercial a couple of years ago.
yeah,
Riley, I mean, we're all in. So I'd love to roll Toomer's Corner and go to the drugstore there. I believe there's a
yeah.
drugstore
Get
in
some
Clark.
lemonade.
Yep, like that. I mean, I'm all about it because we went to Ole Miss. We've been in the Grove. Went to Neyland in Tennessee. That was amazing.
Nice.
Of course, been to Bryant Denny. So this is another one of those experiences I got to have. Win or lose, I haven't. We call it here in St. Louis. We call it TPing. Like I
Yeah,
haven't TP'd anybody since like some girl that we were like an ex of a friends and then high
yeah,
and like we were cops. So this, I guess, you're not going to get arrested. So that'll be fun. Anyway, let's get to the Disney stuff. So give me your background on Disney. Why are you a Disney fan listening to Disney podcasts? How did your passion get started with all this?
yeah. So I grew up going to Disney like once or twice a year. Even started back when I would think maybe I was like 3 or 4. I have two younger brothers, and it was just somewhere we always went every summer. And every year, my parents would like try to branch out and go somewhere else. And like us as kids, we'd be like, "Can we go to Disney?" And they're like, "Okay." So I just grew up going, and we had annual passes at one point, and would go a couple times a year. My dad's a teacher, so he had the summers off. So usually we would go in the summer. But it's fun. We've been with a couple different sides of the family. We've been with different friends. And the last time before this trip, I went was in 2015, right before I graduated high school. So it was like the longest stint I haven't gone every like in before this trip. So it was really cool to be back as an adult and like being able to plan myself. But yeah, that was my background. We went with my mom and my fiance, and he's never been to Disney before. So I was like, well, we need, like, you need to go to Disney. He's like, this is crazy. So I didn't understand it. And he grew up traveling like around the world, but like never been to Disney. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go. And then it just so happened to be right after we got engaged, which was really cool.
This is gonna be interesting because your fiance there has the real world travel
Yeah.
experience. You have the Disney travel experience,
Yes.
and I mean, it's always that debate, with Disney fans, we always wanna go to Walt Disney World because, like, I just wanna do World Showcase. I can do
Yeah.
11 days in an afternoon, I can get a snack in Mexico, then go over to China and have some, that, and then, go over to UK and have a beer there, whatever. And
Yes.
then other people are like, "No, man, you gotta get out, you gotta go over to Europe, you gotta do the real thing." So I can't wait to get into this.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you, so you grew up going there. This is actually, it sounds very interesting because your dad was a teacher, which I was. It
Yeah.
sounds very much like our family growing up. Like
Yeah.
both my wife and I are both teachers, and our daughters, we always went to Disney in the summer
Mhm.
off. It's interesting though that you got to go so often being from Connecticut, because I'd imagine with your like peer group that was pretty unusual. Or was it being up in the Northeast, getting to go so much down to Florida? Was that
M
pretty unusual?
A lot of my friends and were kind of the same. I don't know if it was just our like the group that we were associated with and friends with, but like a lot of them went to Disney. We've gone with them. It wasn't every year we would go twice. It was just like probably a handful where we would go once in the summer, then once around like either Halloween or Christmas. Um, but when we would go in the summer, it would be for a little bit longer. And I think it was just like timing with school being out. We would never go like during spring break or during like the school year. It just so happened that we would go over the summer.
Same. I mean, we, for our family, for like when Paige was younger and even Mallory when she was real little, they didn't even know Walt Disney World existed outside of the summer because that was just
Yeah.
because we were off school and we had,
Yep.
we had 3 months of like, okay, we're gonna go on vacation. We'd go for long vacations. We'd go for like 10 days
Yeah.
because we just stayed at a value hotel. We didn't have anything else to do. But my
Yeah.
wife and I were both teachers. Anyway, so let me ask you this. Let's talk about planning this trip, okay? Because it
Yes.
kind of turned into something else in the end, but you were putting this all together. So what was the planning like, especially working with somebody who has never been, and you
Yeah.
hadn't been in quite a while, and a lot had changed, but I mean,
Yeah.
it really changed after, but putting this together, how'd you do that?
So the way I convinced him actually was he had a conference for he's in graduate school, and he had a conference in Orlando at the end of the week. So I was like, well, if you're already going to be down there, we should go to Disney.
Good
And
call.
that was like the convincing he needed. And then my mom loves Disney. She's the reason why we, like going to the parks and stuff. That's why she was the one who planned it when we were little. So she was like, "Oh, well, I want to get on this too." So she came along, and she took care of the hotel and like where we were going to stay and everything, which is really great. So the planning on my end was really just what days we were going to go to the parks. You had to do like the reservation, but it was like that weird time where there was no fast class pass, but there was no genie yet. And it was right before the 50th. Like we left on September 30th. So it was just like weird timing that will probably never happen again. So I kind of just like had a few restaurants in mind, and I knew he's a big Star Wars fan. So I was like, I need to do all the Galaxy Edge things because that's how I'm going to convince him to be a Disney fan. So besides like, and he's a big foodie, so I was like, besides food and Star Wars, like I'm fine with how everything else is gonna go. It just turns out the way it is.
That's awesome. So now, okay, so this was in September of 21. So last September, just
Yeah,
a little bit less than a year ago.
yeah,
Now, let me. I always love this. So you're putting all this together, and you're a big Disney fan. Your
hmm
mom's a big Disney fan, and all this time leading up to the trip, I'm sure you guys are going back and forth about all these plans, about all
yeah.
these expectations for the trip. Like, what's his feedback? Is he getting more excited about the trip, or is he like, you guys are kind of crazy? Like, this is nuts. I mean,
Yeah, he
he's
definitely
usually
was
follows.
getting excited, but he definitely thought I was kind of crazy too. I was trying to have him watch videos like of just what it would look like, but I was almost like this is gonna ruin it, so I'd rather just see your reaction in person. But he was kind of like, "Oh, it makes you happy to go, like, and you're planning something, like, yeah, I'm kind of on board." He wasn't gonna be like a Debbie Downer, but he did not
Good.
understand it until we got there.
That's good if you're getting married that he was not like, "Oh my gosh, I can't,"
Yeah,
that'd be a bad omen because if you like it, that'd
I
be
know.
it's not a deal breaker, but it wouldn't be a good thing.
No.
Okay, so let's talk about you guys get down there, and so where did you stay, and kind of what was it like when you arrived? Because I would imagine, you get there and everybody gets so excited, and you hadn't been for a while, so I'm sure you
Yeah.
were just like, your mom's pumped. I mean, what was his first kind of expectations and experiences when you got there, and where'd you stay and like and all that stuff?
Yeah, so we stayed at Coronado Springs, which we probably stayed at the most when I was growing up. So it was really cool, but I haven't been since there was Grand Casino Tower. So that was really cool to see. The way we started was we drove in from Atlanta. My mom was already there, but we stayed at like an offsite hotel the night before. We got in like really late, like maybe like 10 o'clock at night, and then the next morning we got up and went right to Animal Kingdom. And he could tell right away, he was like, okay, this is not what I expected it was going to be. And I'm also not used to parking and walking in because we've always stayed at on site. So
Right.
from like the parking lot where you can see all the stuff, like the backside of stuff, like I was trying to explain, like, I think that's what this is, and but once we got in there, he was like, wow, this is crazy. And we went right to the safari. So I was like, this is a perfect first ride, like first thing in the morning.
That's a good call. You get them right into that really, immersive experience. So
Yes.
how was so you actually went to Animal Kingdom though before you even went to Coronado then? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is an interesting way to go about it because you stayed off site.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you were kind of anticipating getting to the hotel eventually, to kind of check that out. But
Yeah.
how did the day unfold at Animal Kingdom? Because you had Pandora. Did you guys go into Pandora and explore that area or
Yeah.
ever that kind of stuff too?
Yeah, we did. We ended up doing a lot in a very short amount of time because I think the lines were really not bad. Um, I don't know if I think it was right before because it was right before the 50th. And that time I've never been that time of year either, which is I really like September now because it was not that crazy. Um, but yeah, we did Everest. We did Flight of Passage. We waited for like I want to say less than an hour for Flight of Passage. We had lunch at Satuli Canteen, but we just did a lot of walking around and kind of just checking things out. And he was like amazed by just the theming and like the immersiveness, especially of like Africa and Asia. And it was just like I was just watching him the whole time, like, do you like it? But yeah, we ended up having a really good time. And then in the middle of the day, we broke it up once the room was ready. We left, and there was not too much else at Animal Kingdom. We had planned that I really was like wanting to do, I guess, or felt the need to do. Um, and I also, my strategy for Rise of the Resistance was like to do like 2 days at Hollywood Studios, or at least have 2 opportunities to be at Hollywood Studios, because I was like, he's a Star Wars fan, we need to get on this ride. But there was no like boarding passes at that point. They phased out of that, and
Mhm.
there was no genie. So like, we need to get over there. So we ended up going, dropping our stuff at Coronado, checking in, kind of like refreshing, and then we head over to Hollywood Studios for like the later afternoon.
Okay, good idea. So now, initial thoughts though on Coronado. Or let's just kind of let's squeeze
Yeah,
that in real quick and kind of give a review of the hotel.
yeah.
Did you stay in the tower this time or no?
No, we stayed
It
in, I
looks
believe, the casitas. It was yeah,
right, yeah, I like the casitas. They're those ones that are kind of down there near the El Centro.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, those are my favorites actually of the non-tower buildings. So, what was his thoughts, and how did it work out for your entire stay? Because Coronado's one of my it was my last place I think I ever stayed at Walt Disney World, and that's one of my favorite places to stay. It's to me, it's got it all.
Yeah, he was really impressed in how just like spread out it was, and all the things they had to offer. I've always loved that hotel, and even being back and being older, I definitely appreciated it more. Just like the theming, and it's pretty. There's so many different things to do. I Mexican food is also my favorite, so
No, now you got hang on, I gotta give you the bell on that because that's mine. That's why I stay there all the
there's
time.
Mexican food everywhere there. So I was like, this is great. But yeah, it was super nice, and like he really enjoyed it, and my mom did too.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, Coronado, you can't really go wrong there. Okay, so you guys freshen up and
Yep.
you're getting over to the studios, which again, Coronado is a hop, skip, and a jump from the studios. Nice call there because you're just like
Yeah.
you're in the blank. Well, let me ask you this overall though, because it's one of the other things people always ask me, and I like to get people's feedback. How did you feel the bus service was for the 4 days you were there at Coronado overall? Did you
I
guys buses?
I think we've called a couple Ubers, and I was fine waiting. My mom was kind of like, let's just take an Uber, and it was quicker. But for the most part, it was not bad. I would say we only took like a couple Ubers, and some of those were like on the way back at night.
I do that sometimes too.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, like selectively, I'm like, you
Yeah.
know what? This time I'm getting an Uber. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm also cheap too sometimes, so I can just ride the
Yeah.
buses. Okay, so you guys go over to the studios.
Yeah.
Studios at night too. I mean, you know what? Was it kind of getting dark or
We got there at
was it
like four
more?
o'clock. It wasn't super late. Yeah.
I just love the studios at night though. I think
Yeah.
that if you want to impress somebody with the park, especially Hollywood Boulevard and all the
Yeah.
neon, but how did it unfold there the second park of the day?
It unfolded really well. We got there. We went right to Galaxy's Edge. I haven't seen it yet either, so I was pretty amazed by it as well. I've since dating him have watched all the Star Wars movies. I haven't seen any before
Ah,
then,
nice.
but so now
I
I kind
like
of
seeing you like learning each other's,
exactly.
likes there. I like it, it's very
Yeah,
good.
exactly. So he was like, wow, like just kind of amazed by all of it. And the line for Rise of the Resistance was like 60 minutes. And I kind of was like, I don't know if it's going to get shorter. I don't know. I've seen it go up to like 2 hours. So I was like, let's just get in line now, because I don't want to risk it, and I want to be able to go on this ride. And my mom's like not really a ride person. She'll do like, you know, simple, like easy things, but she wasn't sure how she was going to react to the simulator on that.
Mhm.
So, but she's always been like that, and it's kind of fun because she'll just go off and shop or get a snack, or like people watch, and so she's like totally happy with that. So I didn't feel bad leaving her, and we went, and the wait ended up being like 40 minutes, so it went really quick.
That's unreal, by the way. And
Yeah,
that's nothing for Rise. That's great.
no, and so I was like, wow, this is amazing. And yeah, he was just like, that was the best ride I've ever been on. And I was like, yeah, that was great.
See, that was, that's kinda dangerous because to me, that's the best attraction I've ever been on
Yeah,
anywhere, anytime, and so everything's kinda downhill at that point, because it
yeah,
was so immersive. I mean, it's like 4 attractions in one, and
yes.
it's such a great storytelling thing, which it's great that you got them in there, got to see it, but it's like, I'm sorry, but if your expectations are up there for everything, it's not gonna meet that for everything. But
I
yeah, no, I see what you're doing though. That's
Yeah,
that
that's
yeah.
how I felt, and I was like, okay, well, now that we got this ride in, I can like just relax for the rest of this
Yeah.
trip.
Right. Okay, so how'd you then what'd you do the rest of the night now that you've,
So
been to the peak of the mountain there?
yeah, we just explored more Galaxy's Edge. We went on a couple of rides around there. We did some rides in Toy Story Land. We didn't get on Slinky Dog because we didn't want to wait for that one. It was just too long, and neither of us were super interested in waiting. Um, and then we ended up getting like a last minute reservation at Mama Melrose. I didn't really plan what we were going to eat there, to be honest. And my mom wanted to have a sit down, and it was kind of like late in the afternoon. We've been up since like 7 o'clock. So we ended up getting a really last minute reservation there and sitting down for dinner. And it ended up working out. We went there a couple of times when I was younger, but I didn't remember it.
Everybody forgets Mama Melrose exists. I swear, like, like, you're in the studios and nobody remembers that restaurant
Yeah,
is in there. This is back in the corner there by Muppets. So
yeah,
was it a good meal or was it just
yeah.
kind of average? I mean, what would you say?
I come from a very Italian family, so it's hard going out for Italian food. Um,
Right.
but I didn't think it was bad, and we got a few things and split them, and had some appetizers and stuff, and so it was good. I probably wouldn't have picked it as like if I was gonna have one sit down meal today, it wouldn't have been that, but it served its purpose, and it was good enough.
Yeah, it's my go-to for the night before the full marathon. I
Yeah,
mean, 'cause you said the exact right words. It serves its purpose. Like, it's got pasta, it's
yes,
got, and people say don't eat salads. I eat salads all the time, so I do that.
yeah,
Bread, and it's just comfortable, and it's reasonably priced, and it's pretty easy to get an ADR. It's good,
yeah.
it checks all the boxes for me,
For
it's
sure.
not
Our server
insane.
ended up being from Marietta, Georgia, which is actually like where we live. It's right outside of Atlanta, like 10 miles north. So it was really cool that like we met somebody who lives in the same town as us, and he was our waiter.
Wait, you're in Marietta now? Okay,
Yeah.
so I have a Marietta story. So back in the day, I don't even know if this place exists anymore, but way back a long time ago, I won a speed skating championship in Marietta, Georgia, inline speed skating at a
Oh
place
wow.
called it was a place called Sparkles Roller Rink. Does that place still exist in
I don't
Marietta?
know. I'd have to look. I'll have
It
to
was
look.
next to a big Marriott right off of the interstate. I remember we stayed in a huge tower, like it's
Yeah,
probably not
I
even
can
a Marriott
picture the
anymore.
Marriott. I'll have to
Yeah,
look.
I know we stayed in that hotel that weekend. Anyway, look, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Okay, so you wrap up the day there. I mean,
Yeah,
successful first day, 2 parks, got
I
to check
know.
into your hotel, great meal. I mean, everybody's happy, right? I mean, you're Walt Disney
Yes.
World.
Yes, and yeah, we stayed there. We kind of just poked in and out of shops, and then we ended up heading back to the hotel. Not
Cool. All
too
right,
super.
so let's hop into the next day. So I'll make sure we get all this
Yeah.
in. So the next day, I would imagine Magic Kingdom, maybe because it's your first full day,
So
possibly.
nope, we switched it
See,
around. I'll switch it around. We ended up going to Hollywood Studios again that morning
ah,
to finish. I wanted to do like Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror and like the things that we didn't have time for the night before. And so my mom stayed back and got some work done by the pool, and we went and got up really early and went to Hollywood Studios and kind of got the things that we didn't do the night before. And we saw Beauty and the Beast, which he was a big fan of, and like that's like my favorite like Disney movie. So I was like so excited for it. And but then we went back around like lunchtime, I would say, and then got refreshed, and we all went to Epcot that like early afternoon.
nice. Okay, so tell me more about Epcot because Epcot is such a different experience, even for somebody that's been to theme parks or amusement parks their whole life. I'm sure that your fiance knew what Epcot's kind
Yeah,
of about, but until you get in there and experience it, with the countries and well, Future
yeah.
World's kind of a mess right now. It was better 5 years ago. But what were his thoughts and how did you guys kind of go about seeing that and that especially coming in? I think it's a great park to bounce into as a park hopping because there's not as many lines necessarily. Like you can do World Showcase, like you don't have to rope drop this park and not be, behind the crowds, I
Yeah.
think. Good. So what was your experience?
So we got in, and I believe the first thing we did, we went and just did Soarin' and Spaceship Earth, just to experience those. And then we were really there because it was Food and Wine Festival too. And I don't ever remember being there during Food and Wine, so I was really intrigued. But it was funny because when I was trying to explain the countries in Epcot, I think he was imagining like a little like stand, like a
Mhm.
kiosk almost.
Like
I,
the booths.
yeah,
Like,
like the
oh,
booths. I think that's because my dad will make like references sometimes about like, oh well, we've been there, in Disney, and I think he thought like, oh my gosh, you people are kind of crazy.
Yeah,
But
that's
once he was there, he was like, oh my gosh, like this is so much bigger and like better than I thought it was gonna be, and we ended up getting one of those little bracelet gift cards and went around to
yep.
all the different little booths for the food and wine, and like that was just so much fun. And we did the Mexico ride and ended up having to get evacuated off of it. So I was like,
Oh my
this
god.
has never happened before. Like they had to, come and rescue us off the boat and walk up the back outside. It was so bizarre, but I was like, well, this is a first.
And that's such a, like, just slow, just meandering boat ride. It's,
Yes,
how does that thing ever break? It's
right.
either what break on it. It's boats, like, floating through a canal.
Yeah, and we were right at the end too. Like you could see the end, like where we would get out, and like it was right where Donald's like singing, and it was just the same song over and over for like
Yeah.
30 minutes.
"Help, help, or at least bring me a margarita
Ex-
and some
ex-
chips."
exactly. But that was fun. And it was before Remy opened, so we didn't do that. But we just basically spent the evening like walking around World Showcase, and we ended up seeing the fireworks. And my mom actually, it was that day my mom finally like booked the venue for our wedding, and so we were going back and forth all day about which venue and whatnot. And they
Oh
basically
my gosh.
surprised me during the fireworks. Um, they both abandoned me, and I didn't have my phone on me, and I couldn't find either of them. And I'm trying to walk around France like trying to find both of them. I thought one went to the bathroom, I thought one, like, I didn't know where they were. And then they both come up and they have champagne, and we like did a cheers to like, when we're gonna get married. So it was like really special during the fireworks and stuff. And I was like, I thought I was like felt like a little kid lost in Disney because
That
I
is
didn't know where anybody was. I had no phone on me, but it was a cute surprise.
it was almost like a Full House episode or something. Didn't one of the kids get lost in, like, a Full House episode back in the day,
Yes.
in Walt Disney World? But no, the how cool is that, that they surprised you like that? And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so weird because I know so many people that have made all these important, like, Scott, I remember they bought a house, like, and had to sign his papers on a cruise. We sold my house when I was on a cruise. Like, all these
That's
I've
so
heard so
fun.
many people make all these huge important decisions while they're at Walt.
Yeah.
What's up with that? I mean, a great place to celebrate, but I mean, it's kinda a little stressful a little bit, but that's pretty awesome, and,
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah, it was really great. And so we finished up there, and then I believe the way we got home was we took a boat from the International Gateway to like the boardwalk, and then we got an Uber from there to get home because my
Yeah,
mom,
that's an
yeah.
expert tip. I've done that myself many times. That is an expert move right
Yeah,
there.
it was kind of like we don't want to walk all the way to the front of the park and wait. So, and it was the boat ride's beautiful, and I was like showing him, I was like, these are all the resorts, like these are all connected to Disney, and that was like, and it's such a pretty area too, especially at night. So yeah, that's how we got home.
So were the fireworks, was it I'm trying to remember, was it Epcot Forever or was it Harmonious at that point?
It was Epcot Forever. It was before. I think
Uh-huh.
the like next night was the first Harmonious. We were like right on the
Right
cusp of
there, yeah,
everything.
like, 'cause I was there. I think I might have gotten there the day you left because I got there, like,
Yeah,
because I was there for the, October 1st,
yeah,
and I think I got there the day before, so I was probably there the day you left or right at we probably overlapped, like, a day or 2.
probably, yeah.
But, yeah, I was curious. So, were you, would I mean, you probably don't remember, you were excited about your wedding, but, I mean, Epcot Forever, did you like that? I mean, were you an Illuminations fan from the last trip before that? Or,
Yes, I
like,
was
did you have any
definitely.
favorite what was your favorite, fireworks show of all time?
Illuminations was definitely my
Good
favorite.
call.
I even remember when I was little, it'd be the Tapestry of Magic parade. Like I remember when
Yes!
it was that. That's when
Oh,
we first
man.
started going. So yeah, I really liked Illuminations. But any Disney fireworks are better than like any other just fireworks display. So I was excited to see them.
You are representing Auburn fans well tonight
Okay,
'cause
good.
Tapestry of Nations, Tapestry of Dreams, I kinda switched it up there for a
Yeah,
while, and in Illuminations, there's a CD, that is the greatest CD of all time, if you
yeah,
can find it's out of print, but I have many copies that I burned on my old computer. Greatest CD of all time. That was just the greatest night when you were, like, in the Millennium Celebration, you would be in
yeah.
there, the drums going through World Showcase, the big
Crazy.
puppets. Ah, that's greatest. Bring it back, Disney. Let's
I
do
know.
that. Oh, you're so right. So right. Okay, so you wrap that up. You celebrate. You have your venue. This is
Yep.
so great. Okay, so let's get into the third day. So, do you ever go to the Magic Kingdom, or are you like anti Magic Kingdom? What's going on here?
We
Now,
do. We actually end in Magic Kingdom, but on the third day, we took a pool day.
okay, you're still not going. You're trolling me here. No,
Yeah.
go ahead.
We I knew Magic Kingdom was gonna be the one he probably liked the least, so I was like, we'll wait till the end.
Good call.
But we had a pool day at Coronado, which I feel like is a disservice to the hotel if you don't do a pool day there because the pool is
Right.
awesome. And
Yeah.
so we just hung out there. We had a pool day, and then we went and ended up having dinner at Sanaa at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I've heard great things about it, and so I was like, we need to go here. I've never even been to the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and that was a big hit between him and my mom. It was really great. The whole bread service, everybody was hyping it up, and it holds true. Like it was really great, and we were really full after.
Now tell me, I gotta ask you this because you had a pool day at the dig site. I'm sure you went to the
Yeah,
feature pool at
yeah,
Coronado dig site. Did you at least, because this is one of the great, if you're having a good pool day at Coronado, I gotta throw in some recommendations. You gotta have a frozen margarita. They have a Fiesta frozen margarita. Did you have that?
I had the whatever it's like a purple.
Okay, well, okay, as
Maybe
long as
it's
you
a
had a
daiquiri. I don't
okay,
know.
maybe it's yeah, it doesn't as long as you had a good drink.
Yes.
They have one that's kinda orange and yellow and white, because, I mean, it's kinda like those, Spanish, like, colors.
Yeah,
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 those are it doesn't matter, though, you win. But also, I think they have, like, empanadas there. Like, they have, like, hot, like, empanadas and stuff at that pool bar, like, it's
yeah.
Mexican food that's, like, hot from the pool bar. I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, I think we had some nachos. I was like, you really can't beat
There you
this.
go. Yeah, totally, that's why I love that place. It's like, man, I'm
Yes,
at the pool, I'm having Mexican food and
yes.
margaritas. Yes, okay,
And the
good.
pool was really not crowded at all. The hotel was not that crowded, so it was really cool.
That's good to hear. Okay, so you went over to Sanaa. So now you didn't go to a theme park at all this entire day. Did you have any because I know some like I get this way and I shouldn't, but I mean, did you get any FOMO like wanting to go to the parks or did you actually just chill and enjoy the day being at the pool, going over to Animal Kingdom Lodge, exploring stuff like that?
I personally had FOMO. I think they were like very happy to have a day where I wasn't like a drill sergeant about when we were going to get up. And
True.
he made a comment. He was like, "You get up for work and you're exhausted, and you come home and you're exhausted, but here you're getting up at like 6 a.m. and you get home at 12 a.m. and you're just fine." It's like,
Sure, and that's very smart. He is exactly right, and the thing is, he's lucky that he avoided, like, these new times with, like, lightning lanes at 7 a.m. and all this other
yes,
stuff, because
yes,
now it is more like a job than it was even in those times. He was
yeah.
there in the he got to go down in the very chill times.
Yeah, exactly. So it ended up working out, but yeah, we had a good day of just honestly just relaxing and exploring the hotel. So it was nice.
Cool, okay, so, this next day is your last day. Is this your Magic Kingdom day?
Yeah, so we spent the whole day in Magic Kingdom. It was the only day we didn't park hop. We actually started with a breakfast at Ohana pretty early. Um, and that was another add-on. My mom was not a fan of like the breakfast at Coronado because it was just like kind of takeout at that point.
Mhm.
So, but we needed something for breakfast. So I've never been to Ohana either, and that was a lot of fun. And then we took the monorail over to the Magic Kingdom. We did a lot of rides because the wait line for the lines were extremely low. Um, and then we had Be Our Guest for lunch. So we were between like Sanaa, Ohana, and Be Our Guest. I was like, I can't eat another thing for like a week
Yeah,
because
played well there in the 24 hours.
yeah, it was almost too much in like one time frame, but it was like it was fun. I mean, and the food was all three of those places were really good. Um, but yeah, Magic Kingdom was definitely like his least favorite park. He was like, "There's just so much going on; it's a little overwhelming." And it also was the last night of Happily Ever After, so it
Oh,
got
yes. Yes,
super
I was there for
crazy.
that too. Yes, I was there that night. Yes.
Yeah, it got so crazy. So my mom ended up going back to the hotel like a little after dinner because she's like, I've seen this. It's too crazy. I'm gonna go back. But I was like, we need to stay. Like, you need to see the fireworks here, or whatever. So we stayed, and we were in like packed like sardines. We had some Casey's Corner nuggets. I was like, this is just great.
You
um,
were doing it exactly Casey, oh my gosh, corn dog nuggets and the
yes,
last one you were totally doing it perfect. I mean,
yes.
you were killing it, yes.
Yeah, so we had like all the different snacks that day. We were like, we need to fast tomorrow because this is just too much food, but that's like part of the fun, I guess. And so yeah, we watched the fireworks and then we headed out right after.
Wow, but you really did it right. I mean, you did all 4 parks. I
Yep.
mean, you stayed at a great hotel, you had a pool day, you got to go explore another deluxe resort and have a
Yeah.
meal over at Sanaa, you got to get over to the Polynesian for Ohana. I mean, you weren't there a super long time, but you got a whole lot done with actually built in a whole day of chill time.
Yeah, I was
And
like
yeah.
determined to get as much as I can in, just to like be like, this is what it all entails. It's I'm not leaving anything out.
So let me ask you this kind of as we wrap this up. And this has
Yeah.
been so fun. I mean, your future husband's very lucky because he's going to have some great Disney trips in the future because you get it, like you do
Yes.
it right, and he gets it too. I mean, he's going to fall right into this. But what were his like thoughts now that you guys have been home for all this time and like you guys bring it up, and I'm sure you're planning on going back at some point. I mean, because now he kind of understands a little bit of your Disney fandom and what it's all about now that he's been there one time and gone around with you and your mom and everything. Like what were his reactions post trip? Like what maybe surprised you that he said he liked and stuff like that? What did he say?
Yeah, so he was kind of like, "Okay, I understand why you like this. This was a lot of fun. It was better than I anticipated." And he said that like my mom kind of asked him when we were leaving. She's like, "So, what do you think?" And he's like, "No, it was a lot of fun." Like, and he's like, "We'll be back." And I was like, "Yeah, we will be back." And but it's funny. He's like brought things up from like our trip, the past like 9 months when we were talking about people, and his family's never been either. He's one of 7, so there's like a lot of kids and they just have not been to Disney. So he was even like explaining to them and everything. So it was a lot of fun. It was really nice that he enjoyed it, and we're going down to a wedding in January, so I was like, we should make a stop on the way because it's like South Florida. And he was like, we can look into it. I was like, okay, that's great.
See, that's what it's all about. Now, let me ask you one last question before we get out of
Yeah.
here. And because I think that there's got to be folks out there listening. They're like, I'm in the same boat. Like,
Yeah.
I have a significant other, I have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, somebody that I would like to travel with, but they're just, they've never been. And I'm trying
Yeah.
to like get them to understand why I'm listening to a Disney podcast today and why I like going to these Disney theme parks. What advice like did you learn from this whole experience that maybe you didn't overwhelm him with like pre-trip stuff and all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. What advice would you offer somebody to get your significant other to kind of see why you like the Disney parks so much?
I would monetize on what if they have any sort of interest in anything Disney related or even travel related. So like for him it was Star Wars, and I knew no matter what I needed to do Rise of the Resistance. But he's also a big foodie, so just going to Sanaa or different places or the Food and Wine Festival, just being able to experience different foods from around the world, I knew he would like. But also, I kind of told myself I was going to be unattached to the outcome because I have friends I can go to Disney with, and if he really didn't like it, it's fine. So it's ended up not turning out like that, but I kind of was like, at the end of the day, it's not the you know biggest thing going on, so it's okay.
So the
But I
relationship did not ride on the success of this
exactly
trip.
exactly
It wasn't like some kind of litmus test for the
no
for the marriage. Okay,
no
good.
no
Okay, no, that's great. Because for
yeah
some people it might be. I mean, that could
yeah
be what the vacation is. No, it's awesome. But Madison, what a great way to start the week. And I'm so happy for you guys. And I wish you the best with the wedding. So is
thanks.
wedding coming up here soon, I hope, or
Yes, it's in October, so we're almost there.
ah, October. So I used to work in the wedding industry. October is a beautiful month for weddings. So
Yep.
is it's gonna be down there in the south?
No, it's gonna be up in Connecticut actually.
Up in Connecticut. Okay. Well, hope you get good weather. I
I
say down in the
know
south.
it's a hit or miss.
Well, yeah, I was like, it'll be beautiful. I'm sure it's gonna be a
Yeah,
great one. So, congratulations to you guys, and thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing this great trip report. It's been a great way to start the week. Thanks again.
yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right, don't forget today's show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Drop by the site this week over at themagicforless.com and we can help you plan a great Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. The agents are standing by right now and they're passionate. experienced Disney fans, and they have lots of training. They're going to take great care of you, and there are awesome booking bonuses as well. Don't forget, we can book those fall 2023 Disney cruises right now, and you get up to a 5% onboard credit with those. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon for that. That really helps us out. And a huge shout out to our patrons. You guys help support the show and make this all possible. And I thank you so very much for that. Our patrons also get that bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. If you'd like to join us over there, please come on over, check it out. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give me a follow on the social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Instagram and Twitter. And I'd love to talk to you this week. So please give me a follow and let's communicate over on the social media. You can also follow the show on Facebook to search for the Be Our Guest Podcast. And don't forget, we have live shows every Sunday night where you can call in and speak with myself and Scotty G. And we just talk about all things Disney. It's an open line call-in show, and you can be a part of the show every Sunday night. So join us on Facebook or YouTube. It's 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central this Sunday night. We'll check you out over there. Also, if you don't mind, give us a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you download the show, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Google, Spotify, wherever it is. We sure appreciate that rating and review this week. All right, we're going to get out of here and let's get on through the week. But thank you so very much for taking the time to listen to our show. Hopefully you had some laughs and smiles with us today, and we'll be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. So for Madison, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Monday. Time to get back to work. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks so much, Madison. That was a great show, man. That was so much fun.
Thanks. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, I appreciate it. Well, you have a good night.
Yeah.
And if you ever need anything, give me a yell and good luck on the wedding.
Thanks.
Hope you get great weather.
Yeah.
Now you're not getting married outside, are you?
No, there's an option to, but yeah, it's been nice in Connecticut during the fall, like in October recently. So I'm hoping it just continues.
So we got married outside, and we were nervous for the whole year leading up. Like you can do anything about the weather, right?
Yeah.
You can do anything about it. Why be nervous about it? But we were, and there was a thunderstorm. We saw it, we could see it coming in as we were getting married under these big oak trees.
Oh, nice.
And so it came through right after we got in, because we got on a southern plantation.
Yeah.
In Missouri. But so we got married, and then they put us into this renovated barn was where we had our reception. We got in, and just the pictures were great, but we got in just in time, and then the storm blew through, and Ricky's parents were our photographers.
Yeah.
The storm was so bad that it knocked a tree down under her dad's Corvette. It was illegally parked, by the way. It was in a spot it shouldn't have been parked. So that karma, but boom, right there. So yeah, so
Oh,
you're
wow.
inside. Yeah, but
That's
yeah,
pretty
so
crazy.
yeah, so I'm not trying to freak out or anything. So you're inside. You're
Okay.
smart move. All right, well, have a good one. And if you ever need anything, just give me a yell. I appreciate your time.
You too. Thank you. You have a good night.